Hi everyone, back to the FAQ specials, and this would be part 3. Really sorry, part 1 was made in France, part 2 was made in Frankfurt, and now part 3 in Singapore, all within I think 24 hours. It's just that in different countries, different continents, and different time zones. I'm a little bit zoned out right now, to be honest. The time now is 4 a.m. Singapore time, and I've had a long flight, obviously, across from, the Europe back to Singapore, and it was really hectic because when I was in transit in Frankfurt, wow, the first flight was delayed, and when I arrived at Frankfurt, the next flight was in a terminal that was really far away. And you know how it is like sometimes. I really appreciate Singapore Changi Airport, frankly. Our airport is really unbeatable. I mean, really, I'm very grateful because it is a top airport for a good reason. It makes it really convenient for travelers, and the infrastructure is really wonderful, and everything is very systematic. Anyway, while I was at the airport in Frankfurt, it's still a very good airport. Well, it's just that the travelator was really going slow, and the connection, terminal was really far. Anyway, lugging all those things and going through all the way to the other end of the terminal, and to realize that I have to go through again some customs checks before I could get to the flight was really stressful. But I made it in the nick of time. I boarded the flight back in Singapore Airlines, and that was where FAQ Specials Part 2 was made in the aeroplane. Okay, but anyway, the flight back was 12.5 hours, and I must say that the first part of the flight was very turbulent because of the weather. And after the weather was calm, and then there was another turbulence. This time is because the lady sitting behind me, may I add the fact that she's very big sized lady, very big size and stout lady. I'm not sure where she's from, could be from America. That seems to be her accent. Unfortunately, she keeps kicking at my chair. She does not allow me to recline my chair in Singapore Airlines. And each time I recline, she pushes the chair back. And she keeps kicking my chair and shouting at me, not allowing me to recline. And I tolerated her, and I tried to reason with her, but she continued her very unreasonable behavior until the angel in me has totally disappeared and the devil in me arise. And I also shouted at her, it's like, excuse me, what is your problem? And then she kept quiet, but she continued to kick my chair and refused to let me recline. And I tolerated her for, I think, a good 1 hour plus until I really couldn't stand it anymore. And I buzzed for the captain of Singapore Airlines for help. So I pressed the, calling for attention. And the wonderful Singapore Airlines crew, a male, thankfully, came, big size also. And I told him, I said, excuse me, I'm having problem with this obnoxious passenger right behind me. She keeps kicking my chair. She keeps shouting at me when I recline. And, she keeps on pushing against my chair and kicking my chair. I said, if the chair damages, she has to pay for it. And if she does not allow me to recline, which is my entitlement, she by all means can do so, just have to pay for my air ticket, that's all. And after I told him that, I just let him handle her. And after that, thank God, you know, she did not make any more fuss after that. Okay, and so that was my drama and turbulence in the flight back. So I had almost zero rest, and I have also non-stop phone calls and WhatsApp since I arrived, and till now. But I tell myself I have to get back on this, you know, FAQ specials. I hope I can finish this by today and get it over and done with, okay? Well, anyway, thank you for hearing me out on what happened on my ride back. Yeah, sorry, it was a bit of a diversion from the core topic, which is Fintoch, okay? Anyway, if you are listening to this video, I hope that you listen, you know, that you pause and go back to FAQ specials part 1 and then followed by part 2 before you come to part 3, because it is sequential, it is linked, it is like a telenovela, you know, where every video sort of ends abruptly and with a cliffhanger, and then follow on to episode 2 and now episode 3, okay? Anyway, let me try to sum it up. I mean, I don't want to belabor on the part about the goodness of Fintoch, but I was just sharing why I am doing Fintoch, as in investing in Fintoch, as well as now an active advocator for Fintoch. And right now I do have a huge, I mean, a huge blessing, and you know, a huge blessing in the sense that you know, God has opened up many doors, and you know, has you know, kind of like opened up a lot of opportunities through this YouTube channel, and I am blessed to have made many new friends, many new investors, and many new team leaders. And so I'm very grateful, and you know, I treasure this opportunity to grow with each and every one of you to the best of my ability, okay? After all, I am one person. I only have 24 hours a day, and I shared in video 1 and video 2 that I do have multiple roles to play, and I am full-time employed by a company, and I am part-time passionate advocator for Fintoch. All right, okay, now without further ado, I just quickly sum up, okay, why I think that Fintoch is such a wonderful once in a lifetime opportunity. Number 1, the capital is only locked in for 7 days. Number 2, the minimum investment can be as little as 100 USDT. Though I really feel that in order to see any significant difference in terms of growing the wealth, you know, really investing in just 100 USDT is pointless. Even though 100 USDT also will become 2 times, but 2 times of 100 DT is also just 200 USDT, then it is really wasting this once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, that is how I see it for myself, okay? Because with an opportunity like that, to really see a significant difference, it's about structuring it in 3 accounts at least, it all interlinked to yourself, so that you benefit from the referral commission, which later I'm going to touch on it below, you know. And so, you know, I think at least to see a significant difference in your wealth is to consider around like at least a 3,000 USDT overall investment, or a 5,000 or a 10,000, kind of this kind of tier. And of course, if you have a higher disposable income, or rather a higher disposable part of your overall disposable income, then of course, coming in with how, like what I structure, then you can really see the difference. For example, I came in first with 50,000 and later on I increased it by another 100,000. And then I really see the mega difference that this opportunity gives to me, right? So I really thank God for the blessing. Anyway, this is just my sharing. In no way it is a financial advice, okay? I'm just sharing my own viewpoints as well as what I have done for myself, all right? So, of course, everybody is different and you may not have to agree with me. You do what is comfortable for you, all right? So once again, also the profit is 1% on your capital per day. That is amazing. And if the profit is not being withdrawn and automatically, it gains a 1.5% compound interest on the profits, all right? And so that's why in 1 month, the interest is not 30%, but it is 37% because of the compound interest. All right? And then that is the earlier part is just the passive income portion, okay? Now, if let's say you become a referrer or you become an active advocator, or even if you're just a passive investor, the way that I guide everyone who comes in, right? Also, even though they are passive investor, the way we structure 3 accounts, you also benefit from the active bonus that the company offers, okay? Where as a referrals bonus, first level, there's a 15% per day on the profit, as an additional bonus. So it's a 15% referral commission for first level and a 10% referral commission on the profits, okay, gained per day for level 2. And then there's still a third part, which is another ranking bonus, okay? Then the first rank of GM is an extra 20% revenue share from the company based on the profits, 20% of the profits of the overall network. And that works out to be 100 USDT a day. And then a second bonus, which is a VP, which is 30% on the profits gained on the network, okay? And that works out to be around $450 per day. And then SVP is 40% on the overall network's profit, and that works out to be 2,000 USDT per day. And as for ED, it's a 50% revenue share, okay, on the profits of the overall network again, and it's about 10,000 US dollar per day. And lastly, for MD status, it is a 60% on the overall network's profit per day, and that could come to 36,000 USDT per day, averagely, okay? Well, in my upline, my immediate upline, or rather my mentor, okay, she's earning, I think by now, because last week she's earning like US 8,000 USDT per day. Okay, by now, I'm very sure it is probably even 10,000 or more per day, all right? Because the people who are coming in to Fintoch every day, there's really a lot of excitement, a lot of awareness, and a lot of attraction. And, so this is how Fintoch can really be life-changing. Yeah? Well, I mean, I've shared all these things, and to me, I myself, I'm very invested. I still hold a 6-figure investment in the Fintoch platform, and I have been really very blessed by this opportunity. And a lot of people ask me, a lot of people ask me like, am I they ask me like, how long do I see the potential of the company? And they ask things like, is this a Ponzi scheme? Is this a money game? And people also ask me like, they have read in the reports that Morgan Stanley claims that they are not partners with Fintoch, and also they have read about that the CEO is that the CEO is an actor. So first and foremost, like I say, yes, I'm very invested in Fintoch. Yes, I'm an active advocator, and I am not an employee of Fintoch, so I am, like you, a passive investor. I invest my own investment, and of course, my eyes, my ears are on the ground to get the first-hand information. So if you ask me, are there question marks? Are there red flags? Yes, personally, I feel that there are. And these are some of the examples that people ask. And also people ask, are there really so many borrowers every day? And are they willing to pay 2% or 2.5% interest per day to borrow? Believe me, these are all the questions I have asked. Okay, and people also ask, why is it that the app is not downloadable on iOS? How come, even on Android, once after downloading, you still have to upgrade the app? Really, believe me, I have asked all these questions myself in the last how many months? I think around 3 over months of my investment. Okay, so the fact that I have asked all these questions and I have analyzed very thoroughly, the question marks and the red flags and so on, I'm happy to share my viewpoints with you and my learnings with you. Okay. Right, so I was saying that, yeah, why not let me tackle one by one, okay? Firstly, I had a question. Why is it that on Apple iPhone's iOS system, the app is not available? And I found out that because iPhone has very stringent rules and does not associate at all with anything related to crypto. So even though Fintoch is just a platform, and it's a platform for lending and borrowing, but still there is association with cryptocurrency, and therefore it's almost impossible for the app to be carried on Fintoch. Okay. Then as for Android, yes, it is available on the Play Store. However, after downloading, almost immediately it has to be upgraded and then diverted to the corporate website, where then you have to download an APK file in order for, and the APK file is downloaded from the website, okay, of Fintoch, and in order for the application to be able to function in the mobile device. And why this is so, the answer I receive is that because the app is undergoing a lot of enhancement and very frequent enhancement, and also because the company is still young and continuously developing the app, and so all the latest versions are available on the website, and therefore the diversion onto the website. And the answer I got also is that actually this app is just using Fintoch as a platform to create the smart contract, but actually this contract itself is stored separately in the blockchain. So even if Fintoch doesn't exist, the next day, for whatever reason, that the wallet and the funds are still intact and accessible through DAPP, through cold wallets like Trust Wallet, MetaMask, and Token Pocket, etc. And pertaining to this, I have separate videos that address it. Okay, so these are the Qs that I have given and the A's that I have received. All right, now then next is with regards to Morgan Stanley, the news that Morgan Stanley is no longer associated or partners with Fintoch, or when Morgan Stanley announced certain things that they are not associated with Fintoch. That was sometime in July, or is it close to February? I remember it was close nearby to Lunar New Year this year, near to Chinese New Year. All right, and you know, what are my thoughts on this? I mean, the reply from the Fintoch is that, you know, Morgan Stanley used to be partners, but later on there is the royal family from Middle East who wants to pump in $1 billion investment, and somehow, you know, the partners don't see eye to eye, and that then Morgan Stanley received a double buyout and no longer with Fintoch as partnership. So this is what I have been told. Okay, do I believe the whole story? I don't think I do. I don't know what is the full story, and I don't know how to verify. Okay, but I would just like to say that at that point in time, I just took an observation, you know, an analysis mode to study how Fintoch was developing and growing. And you know, after what I observed, I'm quite glad that I didn't do anything drastic like stop my investment, because this was very early on, maybe like end of January or early February. Okay, so you know, yes, when I received the news, obviously I as an investor, I was concerned as well. You know, however, over time it has proven that it didn't affect anything at all. Okay, then subsequently the company still was very launching, you know, territory by territory in Asia, and doing extremely well, in fact. And every day everyone is still receiving that 1% profit. And also, you know, whatever the company promises in terms of payout is very prompt and very precise and on time. And in fact, the marketing campaigns are very successful. For example, in November last year, it first went into Malaysia for an event. Then in December, I believe it was in Thailand. At that time, I still didn't know Fintoch. When I came in, it was on 1st of January, and in January was the time that they launched in Bali, Indonesia, which I attended as well. And then in February, they launched in Vietnam. And in March, I think there was a Macau event and also another Malaysia event. Yeah, I think so, yes. And then in April, recently, they launched in Jeju Island, Korea. All right. In May, I think the launch event is going to be in Dubai, I think. And then in June, it's going to be Japan, and I think, okay. And then in July, that for sure, there's going to be a 1-year anniversary celebration in Singapore. And you know, the venue has already been confirmed and booked. It's at Singapore Expo, and it's going to be a huge convention to host 10,000 partners and investors and leaders, you know, from all over the world. Okay, and I think, if I'm not wrong, it's going to be around the dates of 12, 13, 14, 15 July 2023, around those dates. Okay, so anyway, that was, you know, how I reacted to when I heard this kind of news. Yeah, then subsequently another, a little bit like earth-shaking news was the news that the CEO is an actor. Bob Lambert is an actor. Well, actually, to me, my analysis or my rationale is this, right? My rationale is this, okay? Even in the past, the President Ronald Reagan of USA, what was he? He was an actor, right? And then what about President Zelensky of Ukraine? He was also a comedian and actor. So to me is that whoever the past life, whatever it is, does it really matter? And I know people also ask me, but it's different. They use back their own names, but in this case, this CEO of Fintoch, his name is totally different. Well, actually, in the media, the TV and entertainment line, especially I'm from this industry, many artists, they use pseudonyms, right? Just like Lady Gaga, or Rihanna, so the names are different, so what? And at the end of the day, okay, let's just put it this way, okay? From my viewpoint is, at the end of the day, even if he was really just an actor, my point is that, in many, many countries, even now or in the past, many of the countries' presidents or prime ministers, are they the real rulers? Many of them are just puppets, correct? And so my rationale is, okay, so, so maybe he is being placed there. Maybe the real founders may not be, the real people who come up with this brilliant idea of Fintoch, who create this app. It may not be these people that are fronting it. Maybe they are puppets. Yeah. So the main thing to me is that the fundamentals of the company is there, that the business plan is still there, that the plan and the foundation, the fundamentals are sound, and that the company is still paying out, because they have this way to sustain it, because of the lending and the borrowing platform, because of the the public blockchain that they are creating and launching in July, because the FTC, which is their own stable coin, is also going to launch. And this is also going to give us this opportunity to buy FTC instead of buying other people's gas fees, such as BNB, ETH, or TRX. So in July, we have our own public blockchain, we have our own stablecoin, and also with the public blockchain, there are 100 super nodes, which are like super servers or super computers to support this public blockchain. And so, with that, this company is very smart to even sell it out to the partners and eventually to the public. And so far, phase 1 and phase 2 launches of the super nodes, I think phase 1 was like 20 super nodes and phase 2 was like 30 super nodes, which is, I think, going to close soon. So almost 50 of the super nodes are already almost fully subscribed. And what does it mean by fully subscribed? Means that there are a lot of partners and a lot of people in the public who are, using money to invest, to be shareholders of these super nodes. Because in time to come, once the public blockchain is in place, the FTC price value is going to be very high. And whoever owns even 0.0001% of the super node could become super rich. Okay, and that's why a lot of people are buying right now into the future of Fintoch, because they see that the company has a very sound plan, has a very sound milestone and development plan, okay? And so a lot of people are investing into the future of Fintoch. And talking about the future of Fintoch, the company plans to be public listed on the Nasdaq in 1 or 2 years time. I mean, I am also an investor, and I also own some small, very tiny shares here and there of the company's potential FTH, because FTH, when the company launches, that is going to be, I think, the, what do you call that, the company's share name. I hope I have the right term, okay? And in July last year, when the company started, FTH price was only hovering around 7 USD or 10 USD, around there when it started. As of today, I just checked, you know, the value of FTH is already 59,000 USD value for one FTH, okay? And so, you know, I think the fact that the value of FTH has increased so significantly in less than 1 year tells you about how the greater community or the greater public views Fintoch as a company, the potential of the company, you know. And that's how that the value of FTH right now is at this high value. At this point in time, the public cannot buy into FTH yet. It is only assigned to partners from the company based on the investor's profile, in terms of the network and the net worth, okay? And then the company will assign, you know, the partners who are already part of Fintoch community, as in we are already members meaning that we are already investors. And then depending on how much we invest and how much is in our network, then the company assigns the right to us how much we can acquire for FTH. Okay, so at the moment it is still closed to the community because the company has not yet become public listed, and so the public cannot buy into it yet. So I do pray and hope that everything goes as per the company's plan, that it will become public listed in the soonest possible time, and that then the people who hold the value of FTH, who holds FTH, will really have a great acceleration in the shares that they hold. Okay? So anyway, I share all this is also to give you an idea of what I know, what I found out with regards to the development plan of the company. And the company has the white paper as well. And in a separate video, I also talked about the white paper, okay? And the white paper is also available in the latest version of the Fintoch app, okay? Under the home page, there is a button for you to click onto white paper where I think I can't remember, 30 over pages or 50 over pages, quite detailed to talk about the next phase of Fintoch with regards to the blockchain launch, the FTC, the super nodes, etc. All right. So the point I'm saying is, to me, is that does it matter? Does it matter, who the CEO really is? To me is that, look, I fly Singapore Airlines or I fly Lufthansa, Air France, for example, or Qantas, do I even know who the management is? Do I bother who the CEO is? As long as the airline is safe, is sound, it brings me from one place to the other, correct? How many of us know who the owner of Mercedes-Benz is, or who is the management? Does it matter before you buy the car? You know what I'm trying to say here? So this is my rationale. You may or may not agree with me. I'm just really just sharing my viewpoints, you know. So that's some of my sharing. Now, then a lot of people also ask me, how long do you see the potential of this company? Well, I mean, I'm not God, only God knows, correct? I mean, I'm human and I'm limited by knowledge and, everything. But what I can say is, from what I can see, from what I can observe, from what I analyze, from what I research, what I dig, and the fact that I'm in Singapore and I'm very blessed because Fintoch Asia Pacific HQ headquarters is in Singapore. And when Fintoch launched, Singapore was the first destination, that they set up office. And also I'm very blessed in my upline, it's a very powerful line of uplines, and I have business partners and business associates who are on the ground and in the know of all the Fintoch development and activities. So maybe that gives me an added advantage geographically, as well as, relationship and friendship and partnership wise. I have all the right resources and the right people around me. So from what I know, this company has a very sound development plan, and it has a very potential long runway. Okay, like I share with you in June, July, all these things are going to happen. We are going to launch the public blockchain. There's going to be the 10,000 people convention for the 1-year anniversary of Fintoch. And subsequently, does it end there? No. Because in the second half of 2023, the roadmap of the company by then would have covered most of the Asia territories to launch. So the next phase forward, the company is going to go quite aggressively into South America, as well as into African territories, as well as into Asia Pacific, like Australia, New Zealand. All that, right, it's already paved. Okay, the company has already assigned the plan. Okay, on this, let me try to find some of the information that I have on to elaborate further. Okay, hi there, I found it. Okay, so first up, I was mentioning to you, well, all these pictures were taken on the 18th of April 2023, just very recent, because this dinner was the celebrative dinner for the headquarters Singapore office launch. All right, it was just a few days ago. And so at the dinner, this was being shared, that Asia Pacific launch event, the anniversary of FTC launch event, is going to be on July 12th, 2023. See, at Singapore Expo, it has already been booked. That is a fact, and deposits and payments have been made. Okay, 10,000 members will be attending in this huge affair, and I really hope, especially my network, my teams from all over the world, I really hope to see you in Singapore. Okay, I would love to welcome you. It is my hometown, and I would love to have all of you come and visit me in my hometown and celebrate this 1-year anniversary together. Okay, then let me see, after that, right, you see, November to January, oh, I think there's a typo here, not January 23, but January 24. Okay, November to January 24, the places that Fintoch is going to launch into will include Istanbul, Turkey, or Turkey right now, Berlin, Germany, Paris, France. Okay, and then next also includes next year, November 23 to January 24, it would also include Sao Paulo, Brazil. Okay, oh, Argentina. I don't think Buenos Aires, is that how you pronounce it? Argentina. And to Chile. Okay, Chile, okay. So into South America. All right, and then let me see what else. Yeah, also February to March 2024, it's going to go into Asia Pacific with Sydney, Australia, Melbourne, Australia, two different states of Australia, and then also to Auckland, New Zealand. So you see, the company definitely has very, very big plans, okay? And yeah, here it's also announced that in 2025, by 2025, that Fintoch is targeting to launch its IPO on NASDAQ, okay? You know, by then, they anticipate that the subscribers will reach 100 million. I frankly believe that it will way surpass 100 million by then, because as of now, you know, the number of take-up rate is really, really high. I think right now we already surpassed 30 million subscribers, and you can actually see it on the browser itself, okay? You want to know how to see it? Let me show you, let me try to show you on my app itself. Because the Fintoch app, right? You see, once you launch the Fintoch app, at the bottom there is a banner with options, right? There's home, landing, profit, browser, and wallet. So in order to see how many subscribers, you click on browser, and when you click on browser, there, I think at the, you know, okay, somebody has requested for me to make markers. I'm not very good at this. I hope I don't mess up, okay? But okay, let me try. So this is the part here. Can you see that the numbers are just increasing by the second? All right. And now that I've done this, how do I get back out on this? Okay, so I get back out, okay, and I really hope that I will not accidentally stop the video. Okay, okay, so there, this is how you see what is the take-up rate in terms of number of like subscribers or members every day, okay. Now then, I hope I have answered, you know, these questions. Yeah, okay, yeah, there are some people who also ask me, like, you know, is this a money game? Is this a Ponzi scheme? Is this a last in first out? You know, are they taking Paul's money to pay Peter? You know, and questions like that. And I totally understand where you're coming from. Come on, I'm an investor. Like I told you, I'm not paid by Fintoch. I'm not paid to say good things for them. All right, so I'm an investor, so the way I see it, I will say it, okay? So obviously I asked all these questions. Yeah, so the answers that I get is, firstly, that it is that there are many people who are crypto traders these days, especially in the last few years, the last 4 years, where, you know, COVID hit us and many people were locked up in quarantine, and so that even boosted even more crypto traders who are stuck at home, and they learn how to trade, and they learn about crypto, about blockchain, about smart technology, I mean DeFi and all that. And so there are even a lot more crypto traders, and so this trade has been boosted. And also because of the evolution of traditional banking to, or centralized banking. Right now we're talking about DeFi, decentralized banking. We're going digital. So more and more people are becoming more savvy in this area, and therefore there are even more traders. And I can't remember the figure, but somebody told me that the crypto trading per day, it's a huge figure that goes, being traded a day. And so also, on the Fintoch application, you literally, when the application launches, you literally can see on the home page, right, for the people who actually borrow, what was their last 24 hours performance like. I think averagely, okay? So at the bottom, you can see some are making like plus 4.10%, and on top, it can be as high as 33.29%. All right, and so therefore, in terms of crypto traders, I mean, for them to come in to borrow at 2% or 2.5%, it is considered a good, I mean, it's considered not a very high rate, considering the fact that they could do margin trading, they could do leveraging, and that they could gain this kind of percentage interest. And crypto traders, just like many property buyers who flip properties, they do the business, or they trade without using their own money. They actually use other people's money. And so by borrowing money from Fintoch platform, where they only put 50% of their own money, and then they could get double of that to actually trade, I mean, it actually makes a lot of sense for people who are in this trade, okay? And I have asked around, and people who are crypto traders, they say that there are even people who borrow for crypto trading per day as high as 5% or 5.5%. Okay, so therefore, for Fintoch to actually go at 2% or 2.5% is not considered very high. Okay, and on the home, apart from seeing this, right, you can also see the return on investment for the last 24 hours. All right, the return on investment, and this, you can see the figures as well. Okay. Hi, okay, I have found this article, or rather I would say it's a text, okay, in the Fintoch community, which I am thankful for the person who shared this, though I don't exactly know this person, but he's part of the Fintoch community, and I saw it in one of those community chat rooms, okay, and this is what the person said about leverage profit taking. And this has a link to what I just shared about the fact that borrowers borrowing from Fintoch at 2% or 2.5%, many of them who are crypto traders will still make sense to them, okay? So this is what the person wrote. Many of my friends and contacts are still skeptical on the viability of Fintoch's true zero-risk blockchain investments. One of the most often raised questions is, are there borrowers willing to pay 2.5% interest a day? Then the answer is, Fintoch's income depends on the demand for loans. Without the demand, there will be no profits from the loan interest to share with the investors. Let me address this critical question as a scalper trader. So this person who wrote this, right, he is a crypto trader, and specifically a scalper trader. I'm not sure what it means. He explains, a category of traders who specialize in making quick profits from short-term trading. So this is the short-term traders in crypto are called scalper traders, okay? To make things easier to understand, let's assume that you are a trader prepared to limit your losses to 100 USDT per trade, and to take your profits also at 100 USDT per trade. Now, suppose there is a quick loan that you can borrow to multiply 3 times your trading profit of 100 U to 300 U, and to limit your loss to the same 100 U inclusive of the 5 U interest payment. Would you jump on the deal? Of course you would. Especially if you are a short-term trader, when you can make up to 3 times more profit when you win or limit your loss, because there's a stop loss in Fintoch trading platform, okay? For crypto traders, there is a stop loss. Or limit your loss to the same amount that you were prepared to lose without the loan. Okay, once again, of course you would. As in you would want to borrow and multiply your 3 times your trading profit, okay? And limit your loss still at the same level at 100 U and willing to pay a 5 U interest, okay? Because sorry, of course, let me just read it as it is. Of course you would, especially if you are a short-term trader, when you can make up to 3 times more profit when you win or limit your loss to the same amount that you were prepared to lose without the loan. All right, so this is what that person wrote. And in conclusion, the person also wrote that this is exactly what Fintoch's smart contract is doing with their quick loans to borrowers, and at the same time protecting the investors or lenders' interests by automatically liquidating the loan contracts when the amounts in the borrowers' wallets are reduced to just above the loaned amounts. Awesome. I've got this text in my phone for some time. I must confess, this is the first time that I am reading in detail word for word, and I think it is very well written and explained by this person who is a sculptor trader, and who explains why this leveraged profit taking, that the borrowers can benefit from Fintoch when they borrow money, makes a lot of sense to crypto traders. Okay, so I hope this answers that question of, are there really so many people who want to borrow? Okay, and I hope also that so far my answers actually help you to understand better. Once again, I'm not expecting you to agree with everything I say. Once again, I am only just sharing my viewpoints and how I have analyzed things and from all the information I got. Okay, and lastly, let me address this question. A lot of people ask, oh, is this sustainable? Are there risks? There are so many platforms out there who have closed shop. There are so many people who have lost their money, and FTX, for example, disappear. Okay, so this is what I have to say, what I have learned, and how I analyze and I perceive things. Okay, first and foremost, we have to get one thing right. FTX is not a decentralized financial institution. It is a centralized financial institution, whereas Fintoch is a platform that is on the decentralized finance system. It's DeFi. Okay, we have to get that in place first. And what is the difference between centralized and decentralized? Well, I have a video on that. Okay, please listen to the other video on what is the difference between centralized and decentralized finance. Okay, but in a nutshell, centralized finance means that it is a company or a platform that is controlled by people, especially like the CEO or even the government or the central bank, etc. Okay, however, when it is controlled by people, it also means that if it is not controlled or managed properly by the people, that the company can end up like FTX, wind up and then people lose all their money. Okay? And by the same token, even traditional banks are centralized finance. So recently, SVB, right, and Signature Bank in USA also went into liquidation issue, right? And these are centralized finance institutions, okay? Whereas Fintoch platform is not centralized, it's DeFi, which also means that, we are like our own bank. Our funds are in our own hands. We manage our funds. We didn't put our funds into some centralized finance, and therefore we pass the control of our funds to the people who handle the funds in the centralized finance, okay, if I may say that. All right, which actually means that in the DeFi system, we have more control of our funds. We are our own banks. We are not going through the middle people. We are not going through middlemen. And once again, I just want to remind, that whatever that we put on Fintoch is on the DeFi system, is in the blockchain using smart contracting, which actually means that it's almost impossible for anyone to meddle with our funds or to do any funny monkey business, okay? And even if the Fintoch application disappears the next day, we can still access our funds, all right? Okay, so once again, where was I? So people ask, what's the potential now? So I have this generally to tell people, okay? And I use this analogy, all right? So bear with me, okay, as I use this analogy. Firstly, I ask myself when I evaluate, okay, I ask myself, there are companies that actually are, not legit, and there are companies who have folded and people have lost money. But does it mean that all companies are like this, right? So let me use this analogy, okay? For us, right, if we want to go from one place to the other, or rather one country to the other, what must we do? Like right, I had to go from Singapore to France. What must I do? I have to take an aeroplane, right? Now, does are there plane crashes in the world? Unfortunately, there are plane crashes, right? Unfortunately, there are accidents, correct? But does it mean that every plane will crash? Thank God, no, right? So thank God, just like I went to France safely and I also came back safely, correct? So not every plane will crash, okay? Now, for someone who is very averse, who is very fear of risks, who is very afraid that something could happen and may happen and can happen, then what can that person do? So the only way is then you stay put. Don't do anything. Don't go anywhere. Don't travel, right? Don't take the plane. Stay put. That means you remain status quo. But then if you remain status quo, then can you really go to the place that you desire? Can you arrive at your final destination? Obviously you can't, right? And so, this is the analogy that I always give. And now, so if we still really desire to go to the place, then we have to make a choice. We have to make a decision. And then we have to evaluate, is this airline, credible? Is this airline safe? Does this airline have the right, infrastructure, mechanics, and, has a good, sound that gives you the possibility of that security, right? Then you make that wisdom and that decision and that analysis, right? Then you choose the airline to embark on, correct? Now, when you embark on an airline, let's just say that Singapore Airlines is fantastic. Thank God, you know, it's also like, I think, top number 1 or number 2 or one of the top 3 airlines in the world, correct? I mean, so thank God, you know, so far everything has been cool and great, right? However, even if the airline is fantastic, there could still be external forces and external factors that could cause things to happen, isn't it? I mean, things like weather condition, you know, things that are unpredictable. You know, now there are rumors of war and things like that. Who knows what may happen, right? But the point I'm trying to say is, even if how sound and how good the airline, there could still be unforeseen situations and external factors that can impact the airline or the aeroplane, right? So we just pray that everything goes well. And we have to sometimes, you know, apart from making our own human judgment and human wisdom, sometimes it's about walking by faith. It's a leap of faith, right? If we are always fearful, if we are afraid of what if this and what if that, you know, many people ask, what if it fails? Now, my question to myself and to you is, what if it doesn't fail? And then, you know, if I had on the 1st of January listened to all the negative, you know, news and along the way also be affected by this news and that news, what if this and what if that, and then what would have happened now? Then I can't be now sharing that over this period of 3 to 4 months. I thank God, I really thank God for Fintoch, which is a life-changing opportunity for me. And by the grace of God, now I have a very handsome profit of 6 figures, which I would never ever have this money, this value, if I had not embarked on Fintoch, or if I had halfway listened to this news or that and get shaken and extricate myself and then stop everything, then I would never have lasted this long and I would never have this amount of money. And like I shared in my FAQ special 1, I shared with you that I had lost a huge sum of money before. And that's why when I saw this opportunity and when I studied the company and this business plan, I quickly seized this opportunity. I see this as my chance for restoration, to restore my losses. And I know a lot of you out there have had bad experiences, and I'm really sorry for you. I know how it feels like, you know, to lose a huge sum of money or even some money. I know how it feels like, okay? You know, what I also want to share with you is I also feel very grateful that over this time I managed to restore part of my losses, at least by now. And in time to come, I will be able to totally restore all my losses and probably even make more profits, right? And there are many people, and it has been proven, many people over this time, especially those that actually came on board earlier, because Fintoch launched last year 2022 on 12th of July. So many people who are the early bird who came in and knew about it and invested, many of them really are like millionaire status already, you know that? Their life totally revamped, totally changed. All right, so, you know, I think this is quite long a video, but I'm glad that I covered most of the important points, you know, that I have always wanted to share. And many people ask me almost every day. Every day, I've been repeating myself almost. And now finally, I do a video to wrap everything together, and so that I don't have to keep repeating myself. And frankly, my time is very, very limited. I am extremely busy, you know, but still, you know, I have my commitment to my teams. I will be as responsible and be there for them as much as I can. And this is my commitment to my investors as well as my leaders and my team builders. And generally, I am very, very fast to respond. And since I have touched on this, I might as well also talk a little bit about how, I see things, or my way of working, okay? And how I lead my teams, and what I also would like from my followers. I think it is a reciprocal, it's a mutual relationship and partnership. So since I talk about this, I might as well cover this part too in this video. So bear with me if it is a little long, okay? And so how I see myself, the way I do things is, firstly, I am somebody who is very simple. As you can see from all my YouTube videos, I am totally no frills, and I'm very straightforward. I'm very open. I'm very transparent. Okay, and I'm very willing to share. I'm very willing to help. Many people have described me as a very sincere leader, very compassionate, very responsible. I think I am. Yes, I am also highly accountable. And I never promise something that I feel I cannot deliver, okay? And I definitely do not overpromise, and I definitely do not underdeliver. All right, I mean, I do my very, very best, and these are my philosophies, my values, my ethics, okay? And to me, integrity and honor, the trust and respect is very, very important. And to me, Fintoch is a company, is a platform. My loyalty is not with the company. My loyalty is with the people that I come into contact with. The people who entrust, or who trust me. The people who trust me enough to be investing into Fintoch through me, and the people who trust me enough to become my followers, to build their teams under my network. My loyalty is to all and each and every one of you who is out there, my team members, my network, okay? And so to me, I'm not someone who has a personal agenda. In fact, a lot of times I really put my partners, my associates, my followers' interests ahead of myself. All right, and therefore, whether I receive positive news or I receive not so positive news, such as the question marks or red alert kind of news, I do not, withhold it from my associates, my partners, and my followers, because I understand that everybody are investors, and the fact that I'm a builder, my responsibility and accountability is even higher, okay, to these people, that I have to make sure that I safeguard their interest, I safeguard their investment. All right, so I always believe that you do unto others what you want others to do unto you. All right, and so it is with this mentality, with this philosophy, that I conduct my day-to-day life, and I conduct the day-to-day relationship that I establish, the friendships that I establish, the partnerships that I establish with my partners and my investors, okay? And so now, as a leader, what do I do to support my team? I give them first-hand information I know. I consolidate and I aggregate the materials firsthand that is related to the company, to the business, to the marketing, to the development plans. All this firsthand, I push them out to my network. Positive or negative, I push it out, okay? As I said, my responsibility is to the people, okay? And then I give guidance and coaching on how you strategize and how you build your own investment in order for you to maximize your return on investment in the shortest, fastest time. How you strategize and build the foundation right. Also, if you are a builder, how you can, in the shortest time, up rank. The first rank is GM, and then after that is VP, and so on. And I offer training and coaching and guidance mostly on WhatsApp and WhatsApp calls, in groups and in Zooms, and training and workshops. Okay. And now what I want to say is, I am only one person and I only have 24 hours a day. And I think, I made it very clear. I also have a full-time job. I am a part-time passionate advocator. Still, I thank God I am gifted by God to be a multitasker, a pretty good time manager, okay? And therefore, I am able to juggle many things at the same time, all right? And so this is something that I am able to still strike a balance, okay? Having said that, okay, there is definitely a limit to what one human being can do. So I do have teams and I do develop my teams, and I need my teams to also understand that the trust and the respect and the partnership has to be two ways. It has to be mutual. And we all live in different time zones, okay? And mostly I follow the Singapore time zone, all right? But I have teams from all over the world, and everybody's from different time zones. So I do pray and hope that my followers, right, my team members, right, spare a consideration for your upline, your leader, who is me, to give me enough time to rest and enough time to balance out my life, okay? And not be, wanting things to be done at your time in your space, which I try my best to support, but you have to collaborate with me to fit my timing too. All right, and not like calling me in the middle of my night, like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. and tell me that, oh, please, please, please jump on a Zoom call or a video call. I think that is beyond any human, boundary. Okay, so please understand and respect that, up to a certain time, a decent time, that I need my rest. Okay, I have my other activities, I have my family, I have my life, spiritual as well as professional life. Okay, where I do my best, I definitely am there for my teammates. Okay, and also I have teams, and some very big, some medium, some smaller, and everyone, they are all growing, and I would love to grow with you. Having said that, also up to a certain point, after all the training and all the impartation of my kung fu skills to you, you also have to reciprocate by learning in the shortest, fastest time, and to duplicate that for your own team members. And you have to learn to grow up, and everybody has a stage, from baby to toddler to teenager to adulthood. And in the shortest time, right, up to a certain stage, right, you cannot be expecting me to keep hand holding you. So this is my rationale of team building. During whatever stage, I'm still here, but what I'm saying is that each and every one of the followers has to also understand that this is a duplication business. All right, it is not an imposition business where every time you are when up to a certain time, you have to pass it on. You have to duplicate what I'm doing. And instead of pushing all your followers and your leaders and your members to me for months and months and weeks on end, that cannot happen. all right? And also it has to be reciprocal. You know, what I require from you, you have to reciprocate and reply as fast as possible, and to furnish the information that is required so that we can grow our teams together. So these are some very basic, I think, very basic expectations, whether we are building our teams in Fintoch, working together in Fintoch, or even in any working environment. Would I be right to say that? I think it's quite fair request that I have, right? And so, you know, once again, my commitment is there, okay? And I'm committed to each and every one of you. It's just that each and every one of you who is now in my network, and each and every one of you who may be intending to join my network, of course, I warmly welcome you, all right? And I would love to have you. What I need is that mutual understanding, the mutual cooperation, the mutual partnership, so that we can grow together. And I also say that whatever we do in Fintoch, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. You know, we are here to go the long mile, all right? And so I would really love, you know, to meet more dedicated, committed team builders, and who are sincere and would love to work hand in hand with me, and able to respect some of these boundaries, you know, that it is a mutual respect of each other's boundaries, and that we can work together. Then I am very sure that we can really have a very rewarding partnership together in our journey with Fintoch, all right? And lastly, I would like to end off by saying that, you know, whether you are investor, you are a builder, or you are a networker, you know, I share the same advice that I practice. Actually, you know, I am practicing, okay, whereby, you know, whatever your capital is, right, in 60 days, when you strategize and you know, you structure your investment right, within 60 days you can make 2 times of your investment. So what happens then? It will be advisable for you to then recoup your capital either fully or partially, all right? And then after that, you just roll with your profits. And then in that case, there is absolutely no risk, correct? And I also want to finalize by saying, once again, back to an earlier question, how long do I see the longevity of Fintoch? Well, from what I see is that the company will have a long runway, especially after it launches its public blockchain, it launches its FTC, and then the next step forward is the public listing, which is 2 years down the road. So it has a long growth chart. Still, we are all investors. We want to take a more cautious approach, right? So for myself, I always look at the next 2 to 3 months. All right. So right now we are in April. The next 2 to 3 months, we have a good longevity up till around August. All right. So for this time, there is still a good time for you to double up your investment. Okay. And does it mean that after August, the company is not going to be here? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we always take a more cautious short-term 2 to 3 months approach. So with all these mega launches and big plans coming up where the company's value is going to propel to the next level. Oh, by the way, I hear also that Fintoch has acquired a public listed company. I think that they are going to make official announcements. So let's wait and see, okay? This is what I hear, okay? I can't confirm it until the official announcement too, right? But anyway, what I'm trying to say is all these things are happening. And so from now till August, you still have a good period of time to double up. And after August, you already know that there are still many territories to launch, okay? And also the NASDAQ upcoming. So anyway, that we look at it as next phase, all right? But for now, from now till August, I would say it is really looking very good. That's my own viewpoint. Once again, you can agree, you can choose not to agree. It's up to you. All right. And I'm not here to encourage you, I'm just here to share my own views. Okay. So with that, I think I am very glad I finally think that I have covered most questions of FAQ, and I finally managed to complete this series of FAQ. Okay, so I apologize if it is a bit long, but I hope that it has been useful and helpful for you. And with that said, the time now in Singapore is 5:33 a.m. Okay, it's really time for me to hit the sack. So a blessed weekend to all of you, and God bless all of you. And may you grow in health and in wealth. And well, if you are in Fintoch, I really look forward to seeing you in July in Singapore. All right, and God bless you all and take good care.